Oh, oh no, I didn't. Good. Oh well, folks, it is really bad. If you read my type title of my post, and this is what's really doing. They are, and I didn't realize how bad uh, a person using the master key that was in the office to come in my house at that point, house apartment, before I put in a security system that is phenomenal. After learning all of that, um, but they acquired a few things along with all of my DMV, which is Department of Motor Vehicle information. Uh, Anything that was in a Department of Motor Vehicle envelope, they confiscated. Not confiscated, they stole. Confiscation is another use for another term. That's for criminals that are found guilty of the crime, and everything that they own and possess or whatever is confiscated, okay, and put into a government whatever. Okay, but this is having been stolen, along with which is no longer usable because it was voided. Okay, but as far as my registration is concerned, and all that vandalism that was going on with my car sabotage, they actually took the only copy that was left of my registration, and have been online and other ways of entering information that's false, whatever. And they are using Social Security. I think most people know about that. So I pray that you do anyway. If you don't, you better check it out. I advise everyone that has any kind of government program to go in and find out their status is with the government program. Because Social Security, any type of energy assistance program, any type of senior citizen disabled program, now it's Department of Motor Vehicle. I know for a fact that they have people that are there working inside Department of Motor Vehicle, receiving payments, and they are pocketing the payments and not and claiming that the persons have not paid for the transaction or the purpose of which they were there for. That's what's happening at Department of Motor Vehicle, and through your living whether it be a house, or apartment, or a room, or whatever. Okay, and if you're receiving any type of government assistance in doing that, that's what they're working on, and they're using those forms of government to do identity theft, because all that what has been leading up to what's been happening here uh, is a profile of identity theft. Okay, in terms of they even have in the local Department of Motor Vehicle Services that my information regarding me as a licensed driver, there is no information in the system. I have to retrieve it myself and going in other ways using the computer to do it, to get the evidence. So that's what's happening. You need to check it out because it's not good. And they are doing it. Okay. And if you go into the system, they will tell you that it's a big thing in California. California, they've been doing it for years in California. They actually take the registration information and use it on stolen cars or whatever. And the car that it's supposed to be on, they will claim that the car doesn't exist anymore. Okay. So, and whereas you've done everything appropriately, and they have stolen your registration, or they are using your registration Okay, so they are making up registration plates and registrations, and they present that, okay, as a ways of oh, it's a mess, okay. So you need to check it out. I mean, really, it's really, really bad, okay. And there's a great deal of it happening here. It's like uh, Connecticut secret Baltimore, okay. Like, Baltimore got busted. Other states that are doing the same thing have not got busted yet, okay. Baltimore, Maryland, because Baltimore is a city in Maryland. Okay, so other states have not gotten busted, and Baltimore, Maryland has gotten busted with every single type of government crime, extortion, bribery, and everything you can think of. And therefore, the city of Baltimore is in crisis right now as a result of it. Okay, and these are the things that President Donald J. Trump should be discussing before the incident occurs. These are things that, in my opinion, that the president should be aware of. Okay, and I mentioned President Donald J. Trump because I voted for him. Okay, and I voted for a person and a man who would be capable of overseeing and knowing and having knowledge of this type of criminal activity within the government. Okay, because the government is the country, and the country and the government is made up of the people. Without that, you have chaos. You have total tyranny. You have Venezuela. What could be happening in Hong Kong and China, and what has happened in many, many countries years and years before, such as, um, the Bastille they celebrate in France with the French Revolution. That's what happened. Okay, the people became so angry and out of sorts because the government, the monarchy, is doing nothing for the people, but it was totally corrupt. People were living in deprivation, starvation, and the government and the monarchy was living as if there was not a thing that was displaced in the country. In terms of they were living uh, the most privileged life and the most how can I say, the most aristocratic bourgeois life, and the average person living, and the servants even of the country were basically just starving and dying of malnutrition. So the people rebelled, and in rebelling, it became the French Revolution, and we know it today as, okay, going and who was in power at the time, as at least the monarchy, because there was a government there too, was Louis and Marie Antoinette. So there you go. We don't ever want to go there, okay? But we can't say that it will never happen, okay? Because remember, the world was created by royal God of royal heaven and royal heaven. And when he feels that he is tired of a Sodom and Gomorrah, anything is possible, okay? And we are literally living the days and times, the nights of Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? Because this is like every time I go into a system of anything attached with the government and any other thing they can get into, I find that it's nothing but corrupt. So there you go. That's my thoughts and results as of this prior week and today. So Keep in mind that crime doesn't pay on any level whatsoever, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from. Okay? Because who sees what you don't think is seen is roll God, roll Almighty God of roll heaven and roll heaven of roll heaven. And he responds and reacts to it in his time. Take care. From Royal Alice, that's me.